Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. I'm a retired financial advisor. I've been in this game for more years than I care to think about. But I basically decided I need to learn constantly in order to compete in this game. And it is a competition. I'm competing with Wall Street. They're moving the market in one direction. I'm trying to anticipate what's going to happen. And as I look back on my career, I ask myself, what's the most important thing I've learned? And that is that the stock market is driven by events, and a way to make big money in the stock market is to anticipate change. Who put me on to this? Well, it's a book I read, and I read it probably back in 2017, and it's called The Accidental Superpower by Peter Zion, and it basically explained to me the socioeconomic structure of the world's economy and how demographics and geography and ownership of the waterways basically control whether a country is profitable, non-profitable, whether it survives or not. And so up until now, this is my Bible. Peter just came out with a new book. It is called The End of the World is Just the Beginning. I've ordered the book. I haven't received it yet, but I did receive it on my smartphone. And so I listened to it. And that's the way I buy all books, is I listen to them first, because I also try to walk and run 10 miles every week. I listen to this, put earphones in my ears, and listen to books. And as I'm halfway through, The End of the World is Just the Beginning by Peter Zion. And I said to myself, every high school student in the world needs to read this book to have an understanding of not what happened in the past, but what is going to happen in the next 5-10 years and how it's going to affect the stock market. So I looked into it, and I found a way to get anybody a free copy of this Audible book. And I'm going to share with you at the end of this video how I can get you a free copy of this Audible book so that I can make a difference in your life. I guess that's what it comes down to, is I believe if I can get you to listen to this book, I can change your life. I can help you become a better investor and understand what's about to happen. That's what this video is all about. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I have learned in Peter's latest book, and so hopefully I can entice you to get this free copy. All right, doing that, I think I can achieve one of my objectives in life, and that is to make the world a better place for you. All right. This is not financial advice. This is pure education, not only financial education. If you read this book, you're going to be one of the smartest people in the room. Talk to you a bit more about this.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, I hope you saw my little commercial to subscribe, and you hit that red box and then hit that bell and subscribed, and I'm going to reward you with a free copy of Peter Zion's book. So let's get into why I think this is so important for you to listen to, and I guess also to get into the habit of listening to nonfiction books every month so that you do become the smartest guy in the room. Peter does a fabulous job of explaining how we got to where we are. There's a little repetition from his previous books, but again, I think it's really essential that we understand how we got to where we are and what the current situation is. I want you to look at this chart. This is a chart of the S&P 500, actually over the last 150 years, and I want you to look at it and see if you see something that is kind of, it just strikes you as wow, how did that happen? Well, what it is, in the 1990s, I guess really in the late 1980s, we discovered the digital revolution. And the digital revolution created globalization. It made it possible for us to control supply chains, to offshore manufacturing, to create a world which up until that time had basically been peaceful. The Berlin Wall came down, and so Soviet Union had broken up. So it really was a very peaceful place. And since 1945, the United States had basically guaranteed free trade across the oceans, and so everything was kind of copacetic. And as you can see, that one change, the digital revolution, created 40 years of unparalleled growth, just unparalleled growth in everybody's economies. And the world just exploded, and our world exploded, and rich people became richer, the middle class improved, the lower class didn't really improve so much. But you can see in this picture what globalization, the result of globalization, did. Now, the other thing that drives the economies is demographics. You must understand that the demographics, you have to have a pyramid. You have to have more younger people than older people. And that's because younger people, particularly from age 15 to 45, have to be educated. They got to buy all their stuff. They pay taxes. They get jobs. They raise families. And so they are the consuming part of our community, as well as the taxpayers, the earners. And then from 45 to 65, they become the savers and the investors. And then after 65, they become the retirees. They become less driven by investment. And so it's important that we maintain this pyramid. A lot of people on the bottom, fewer people at the top, a good death rate, I guess you would say. Well, look at the demographic pyramids of the most important nations in the world. And that would be China, Russia, the Japan, and the United States. And you will see that Russia, Japan, and China are out of whack. They don't have enough young population. So without that young population to consume, to pay taxes, they need to offshore their income. And that has worked marvelously for China in the last 20 years. China's growth is equivalent to what China has done in 20 years, even 10 years, is equivalent what it took the United States to do in 50 years. But they have a problem. As you see, they don't have enough children. They don't have enough of that young consuming population, so they depend upon the United States and other countries to become their consumers. Now, they do have an issue that they aren't going to have enough workers if they proceed, and we continue to buy from them. But as a result of the coronavirus, that has changed. We don't want to be dependent on China. We don't want to be dependent on Japan. We don't want to be dependent on anyone, because the other element that has to be available is that there is a good, healthy relationship amongst countries. And we learned in March of 2020 that no longer exists. And now we got this monkeypox showing up. And our country is saying, no, we don't need this anymore. We don't need the threat of disease coming into our country and destroying our economy. So deglobalization is happening. You add to that then that world peace is no longer guaranteed, that we have people who, because of their bad demographics, because their dependence on oil and gas is being eroded by a world that wants to eliminate their dependence on oil and gas, they feel a need to go and invade their neighbors to protect their sovereignty. And so once again, an element enters deglobalization. Peter does a phenomenal job in 16 hours of audible book explaining this and explaining what the ramifications of these changes are and what is going to happen. In essence, think of it this way. If you live in a city and you depend on another city, and let's use Detroit as an example. You had a thriving economy, building cars, but you needed the food from Minnesota and Iowa and Kansas to feed your workers, to keep you going. What if that food was no longer available? You needed workers. What if your population demographics got all screwed up and now you didn't have the workers in the plants to make those cars? Well, you basically shut down, unless you can outsource that, bring those people in from elsewhere. This is what Japan has done. Japan, if you look at their demographic chart, it's almost upside down. So they have taken their knowledge base and shipped it out to Africa, where they have plenty of people to work to create a economy that the knowledge is in Japan, the work is in Africa, and the money comes back to Japan. Well, what if, when the money comes back to Japan, disease comes back with it? That basically destroys the economy. That's what's happening in our world. In particular, as Peter will explain to you in the book, China is about to implode. They have real estate problems. They have a lack of food. They have a lack of energy. And the United States and the rest of the world has basically said, we're not going to be your purchaser anymore. We're bringing that manufacturing back to our country through 3D printing and robotics, and a union with the Americas, so that we can be protected from things like the coronavirus and from things like stealing our intellectual property and then threatening us with world domination. That's deglobalization. That is what Peter will explain to you far better than I can. He's an economist. He's a personality, and he can help you understand that. Now, what I want to do is make sure you get this book. I can get you a free copy of the digital version of Peter's book. And what I want you to do is go to the link in the description, and I will send you access to that link and explain to you how to get the free book. It's a little bit not obvious, so that you can get a membership at Audible, upload it onto your computer, then get the app on your phone, and you and I can now walk, run, sit on our big, lovely lazy boy chair and listen to this book. I suspect you will do what I did. Once you listen to it, you say, I have to have this as a reference guide, and you will order the hard copy. I can't get you the free copy of the hard copy, but I can get you, if you'll come to the link below, and I'll send you, give me your email address, and then I'll send you the link to get the free copy. Is that a deal? Okay? I want you to know this, because this could be a big game changer. Not could be, it will be. We are deglobalizing. We have decided as a nation we do not want to be dependent for all kinds of reasons on other countries for our goods and our services, because it's just not safe. Okay? That's what this channel is all about. So get the book, get the free book, educate yourself, and you're going to learn how to become the smartest guy in the room. It's all about reading. It's almost free. This book is free.